Burg Courthouse. And this is the armory behind us here? Peter, was that the armory over there?
That's the magazine and the guardhouse.
The magazine? What do you mean?
Where they keep the weapons.
The weapons. Get used to it, John. I think you're going to stay there for a while.
Excuse me, are you done?
We'll come back in a few days.
Michael got back from Australia. Take one of both of them and then one, you don't get the camera.
Yeah,
We have all these places, stuff.
hold on. Okay.
Hold this.
Post office. It was rainy earlier, now it's sunny and it's as humid as it could get. Going up the street. A popular method of travel. Leisurely. The cultured carriage.
George, you may want to talk to him about his famous wife. And they have a child named Thomas. They go to England in 1616 on a goodwill tour. While there, this portrait is painted of her. However, she never brings it home. She will die in England in 1617. Most authorities today agree of tuberculosis at the age of 21 or 22. She is only 11 or 12 years old when John Smith arrived here in 1607, and incredibly, this young girl gives us the first clue that solves this mystery because of one thing: her jewelry. The English do not know something. When they arrive here, we're going to find out this. First of all, Pocahontas lacks one critical element for this mystery. Because she's a Powhatan Indian, she does not possess a written language. She will not give us our first written clue. That's why we need the bearded gentleman next to her. This is Captain John Smith. Now, Captain Smith will tell us when they arrive here in 1607, the Powhatan Indians have something that they want. And the English will do, well, initially they'll trade to get it, but eventually they'll do anything they want to get it. What the Powhatan Indians have that the English want is called food. The good news is you're now at the laboratory where all the artifacts are being collected and stored from the dig site. It's the brick building. That's open to go into today if you'd like to do that. Just step to the river side of the structure, step in the gallery. You'll see a lot of the artifacts on display there. The bad news is you will not see our newest ambassador. This settler was found buried in the fort. He is now in Washington, D.C. He is in the National Geographic Society headquarters building until May 17th. He then will come back to Jamestown. I'm going to pass this picture around for you to look at. I'd like for you to look very closely at the right leg. That will explain why this person dies here at Jamestown. We are convinced in 1607. We believe he's one of the first settlers here. What you'll see in the right leg is what looks like a white dot. That's a musket ball. He has been shot in the leg, through the back of the leg. Now the Powhatan Indians don't have muskets, so who shot him? One of the fellow settlers here, we believe. We think it's an accident, either that or you have your first murder case at Jamestown. But forensic scientists tell us this was fired at very close range. The musket ball shatters the leg bone. It lodges in the leg bones. It hit with so much force, it twisted the leg bone inside the leg. Now there are two surgeons here in 1607. They are here primarily for one main reason. If you injure a limb, they are here to amputate it. His leg has not been amputated. We're convinced he died very quickly of blood loss here. We're convinced that he's only about 19 to 22 years old at the time of his death. We're also, well, in the process of trying to identify this gentleman. There is some speculation today that his name is Stephen Calthrop. We'll have to wait and see if we can prove that. One other thing, if you would like to see his face, it's inside the building today. They brought in a forensic sculptor. She took measurements of the skull, made a plaster cast. She was able to put a face on this individual. So we do know what he looks like. That gives us 3 out of 104. We know what he looks like, what Captain John Smith looks like, and what George Percy looks like. 101 other settlers, we have no idea as of this time. Another thing has been found inside the fort, a second burial spot. When they opened up the shaft, they discovered a woman. The first 2 women will arrive here in 1608. We're convinced that this woman died here maybe around the year 1609, 1610. We are anxious to see what she has to tell us about the story of Jamestown. Now, if I could ask these settlers a very important question, I think I already know the answer, but I would ask it anyway. Why are you here? The answer I think I would get is, we're looking for gold. The settlers arriving here heard stories. They were told that gold lays on the ground in Virginia. All you have to do is sail over here, pick it up, put it in your pocket, you're an instant millionaire. Also, rubies and diamonds grow on the trees here. You're going to arrive here and find very easy wealth, and incredibly, the English discover gold, which they send back to England. Then they get the good news, bad news report. The good news is, gentlemen, you've discovered gold. The bad news is, it is fool's gold. They're not wealthy, they're in trouble. They don't plant enough crops to feed themselves, they're going hungry. George Percy writes in his journal, we don't even dig a well. When we run out of ale to drink, we drink the water from the James River. He described it at high tide as salty, at low tide he says it's filthy and slimy. Disease is rampant at Jamestown, and they didn't bring a doctor. The only person here to take care of you, his name is Thomas Cooper or Cowper. His occupation is very easy to spot today. Outside his shop would be a red, white, and blue pole. He's the barber at Jamestown. Feet of water. And this is the highest piece of ground on Jamestown Island. When you put cannons on high ground behind fortified walls, you dominate the channel against your enemies. In 1861, the Confederate soldiers to build this fort and name it Fort Pocahontas. They do not want Union gunboats to sail up the James River to attack Richmond, the capital of the Confederacy. If you are here, though, with John Smith in 1607, you fear only one enemy. It is not the Powhatan Indians. You know you're going to be attacked by Spain. You're waiting for Spanish ships to come up this river and attack you because of the lost colony. In the 1580s, Sir Walter Raleigh put English settlers on Roanoke Island off the shores of North Carolina to the south of us. They had disappeared. We have not solved that mystery to this day. But if you were English in the latter part of the 1500s, early 1600s, you might suspect the Spanish of being involved because of the Spanish Armada of 1588. England and Spain were officially at war till 1604. They do not like or trust each other. So you need a walls to protect yourself from Spanish ships, but you need this to protect you from Spanish muskets. If you are a settler here with John Smith, you will wear 25 pounds of armor to Virginia. I need a volunteer to put this on today. All right, come on up. How you doing? Your name?
John.
Oh, John. All right, this is perfect. Okay, John. There you go. Now, John is wearing a gorget, which is actually a 57 Chevy Fender. We turned it to a gorget, but this will protect his neck and his throat. But John will also wear a breastplate, a backplate, and a helmet. He wants to be a turtle here for one reason. He wants to look on the armor for a dent. The dent tells him the manufacturer fired a musket ball into it, stopping it. He has proof or bulletproof armor. He is ready to fight the Spanish. But John notices something. The Spanish never show up, but he's at warfare with the Powhatan Indians. And then he starts to notice something else. The Powhatans don't fight like the Spanish out in the open. They're experts in guerrilla warfare. John Smith writes, "We see the Powhatan Indians in the woods. We can't catch them wearing 25 pounds of armor. We're moving too slow." And John trying to sneak up on somebody sounds like the Tin Man coming through the woods. And finally, before John and John Smith, they start to realize a very important fact. This latitude here is on the very same one as the Riviera in France. It should be beautiful here in the summer. Well, all of a sudden, summer arrives, 95 degrees and 90% humidity. John says, "I'm not wearing this to Busch Gardens anymore." Right, John? How about a nice hand for John? Thanks, John. Too hot, too heavy, too noisy. This is a piece of trash. As trash, you will do one of two things. You will throw this away, or you will try to adapt it for better use. Ironically, you stand on the very spot where that happened. In the 1950s, archaeologists digging in this area discover English armor, weapons, and a forge right here. At this forge, the English are adapting their weapons, trying to survive. This forge stands next to the west wall to the fort of 1607. It ran right through the middle of where this Confederate fort stands today. Notice also how close this west wall is to the cemetery on the ridge marked by the famous Memorial Cross. This is where the settlers built their fort. I'll take you outside this earth fort to our last stop. I'll give you your last clue that solved this mystery. That clue is glass. I'll take you there. But the church is open to go into today. There should be a volunteer here to tell you about the significance of the site. The dig site is directly behind me. That platform is open. You can go on to it to overlook the dig site. And it looks like Eric is down there digging this. I'd like to talk to one of the archaeologists here. I'm sure we'd like to tell you what they're uncovered today. And again, if you want to take the seawall back to the laboratory or go back in this direction, the laboratory is open for you today as well. Also, I'm often asked by visitors, they'd love to know more about the story of Jamestown. They'll ask me, is there anything that I could recommend to them to read to accomplish that? One book does not leave my desk. I've read it 4 times. This is my go-to book. Anything I want to know about Jamestown, I go to this. This is the best book ever written on Jamestown. Now, this is the dust jacket. It's a little bit thicker than this, but the title of it is The Virginia Adventure. It's inside the bookstore for you to look at. See if there's anything to offer to you. But if you want to know more about the dig site, Dr. Kelson and his colleagues have done us a tremendous favor. Every year here, they've written a booklet. Each one is different and unique. He's now working on volume 4. The volumes 1, 2, and 3 are here for you to look at as well in the bookstore. And you can start your collection today because Dr. Kelson wants to write 1 volume for every year up until, well, 2007. And I don't know if he's here today, but if you see him, ask him to autograph these. He'll be glad to do that for you. Now, at this particular point, that gentleman's going to give us our last clue. That is a great view of the back of Captain John Smith. Now, as I learned in school, the captain was a great man. If you didn't believe that, ask him. He'd be glad to tell you how great he was. Smith has no problem with his ego. However, in my opinion, without his leadership qualities, this colony never would have survived its first couple of years. But he is on the river in the fall of 1609, returning from an expedition, wearing a gunpowder bag, which is touching his hip. It ignites. And that powder charge burned him so severely, he'll go to England for medical treatment. He never comes back to Virginia. But in his writings, we learn this. London, England lacks glass for window panes. Surrey, their main glass manufacturing center, cannot produce this glass. They lack wood for their furnaces because trees are the premium in England, not here. In the fall of 1608, 8 glass blowers arrived here. Smith says, we're going to manufacture glass, ship it to England, and make some money. And he says, we'll do this in a glass house. The best part was, Smith told us where the glass house stood. He stated, the glass house was a place in the woods near a mile from Jamestown. If you recall, when you first came on the island today, you passed the glass house site. Measuring from that location where you now stand in front of the only structure in Jamestown to remain above ground in the 1600s, this brick church tower is original to the year 1639. Those bricks were made here and put up here by the English. You are incredibly 5,000 feet away from the glass house. Here, a mile. A mile is 5,280 feet. According to Smith, this is where they built their fort. Ironically, he stands at the front gate to the fort. I'll show you how. This is your last archaeological clue. Notice the tree next to the river. English running from in front of Smith all the way back into the dig site. Dr. Kelso had a very simple theory. In order to build this fort, the English tell us this: they built this fort in 18 days. He theorizes that what they did is they put wood posts in the ground side by side in this trench to build their wall. If true, when that wood rotted away, wherever the wood was placed in the ground and it rotted, it should cause the soil to turn a different color. It will stain the ground in the configuration of the wood post. This is Dr. Kelso taking the dirt out of the ditch or trench. Look what he found inside of it. What you're looking at are the wood stains to the wood posts put in the ground here by 104 English settlers in 1607. This is part of the original fort wall. But notice one critical factor. The wall that's been discovered is parallel to the river. Dr. Kelso wondered, have I found the fort? Does it come this way? Or does it go into the river as we always assume? Go to the top of the platform and look at the far end. The following year, he made another amazing discovery. Trench, wood stained, but it's unique. It's half moon, half circle in shape. That is the east corner of the fort. Coming off that corner last year, follow the yellow roping towards the church tower. He discovers over 200 feet to the east wall running through here. Use time-lapse photography. The fort wall is here in 1607. It is not here when they built the church tower over where it once stood. History on top of history. You may have noticed earlier, we walked past a large stone over here. It looks like a chair. Yep. That's the approximate location to the north corner. You saw the west wall running through here. This is where the fort stood. The east corner is the dig site. Notice the south wall goes right by John Smith. The west corner, though, has been lost to erosion. We've lost about 20% of the fort. But you are now standing inside this famous triangle that has been discovered. You are walking on the very ground that John Smith and these settlers walked every single day right through here. And if you're an American citizen, you're doing one other thing. From inside this small triangle will emerge 13 English colonies that fight a war we call the American Revolution. Ironically, 23 miles away is a place called Yorktown, where the last major battle of that war is fought and won, transforming 13 English colonies into the first 13 states of the United States of America. For all intents and purposes, you're standing on the very spot where this nation was born, May 13, 1607. You're now inside this famous triangle. And you're doing one other thing. We have it on reliable English sources that you are now walking on the very ground where Pocahontas did cartwheels inside the fort. The dig site's back here, the laboratory. Have a great day. Thanks for being here.
The first church was built. They built several over many years, but they believe this is the oldest existing to the original colony. They built them in 1608, 1609, 1614, in the 1630s. The bricks were made here. The glass was forged here. The lead was derived from materials they had.
And his body?
I did not actually. Jamie May, woman works here, she dug up the two bodies.
You found him?
It's far more, it takes a lot of patience to dig a burial properly with the appropriate amount of dignity.
One scoop at a time.
I'm a shovel kind of guy. You know, I get a lot of dirt moved and find a lot of neat stuff.
Bring the backhoe in.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to that real meticulous stuff, I'm out of patience.
Well, you're a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So Jamie's got a lot more experience doing that sort of stuff.
Very exciting. We're rooting for you. Plan more.
We will. We've got a large trash pit here. It probably dates from about 1610. Seems to be, believe it or not, every year we find one of these big trash pits just like clockwork. Every year they seem to be bigger than the last. And this one seems to be about 18 feet across. It's got a lot of really interesting stuff coming out of it, military hardware, and early tobacco pipes and pottery, and military, like pole arms, staff weapons type of things. So we're really looking forward to see what this is. We don't know what the feature is yet. It could be a well, or it could be something more deliberate, like a cellar of some sort. Until we get all the dirt off the surface of it and see what shape it is, we won't really know how to proceed and dig down into it and see what it is. So what we're doing now is taking the plowed soil off the top of it.
Well, it looks kind of like steps. Is that just where you've been digging?
That's just where we've dug it in different sort of stages.
Now, they stopped here because of the bricks and stuff that were there?
We stopped here. We dig everything in a 10-foot grid system so that we know where things came from. Every artifact will have its own square, or we'll know where it came from. So when we move up here, we'll have to move, if we end up moving up this way, we'll grid out another 10 feet. You see, we've got another 10 feet.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
And 390 years ago, they were making these trash pits, bro.
That's why I said they had a trash problem then, the same as we're doing now.
They gridded it out in 10-foot squares.
That's the amazing thing to remember, that 390 years ago, there were people on this island going, what the hell are we doing here, you know?
Right. Well, you know what's pretty exciting for us is that when you're down in a trash pit that you know, like we had one trash pit that dated to 1609 or before 1610, there's a tremendous amount of material, and when you find, say, a tobacco pipe or a broken pot or a knife handle, and you pick it up, and someone threw that away when Pocahontas was running around the fort, whoever threw that in the trash knew these people, or it could have been one of these people. You can't say necessarily that it was John Smith, but they certainly knew him. And then you're the next person to touch that thing after that person who threw it away. And it's a really
mind-boggling
connection to history. You can't beat that. You know, as an archaeologist, you're not supposed to think like that. It's all science. You're supposed to be removed from it all. But you know, if you can't get excited about that kind of connection to history, you should probably be somewhere before.
Now, where does that ferry boat run?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the same sort of thing. Yeah.
Where's that ferry?
It goes to the south side of the James River, Surrey County. It goes back and forth every 20 minutes, all day, every day. And it's free. You can drive over there, turn around, and come back. It's nice. It's like a free boat ride.
Yeah, that's what's fun. Like a...
So when we walk up here, what will we see?
On the platform, it'll be easier to see the layout of the fort, where you are in the corner of the fort, and the layout of it. There's some graphics up there that show you
So you see
where
the stained soil?
Well, we've backfilled a lot of it, so you won't see it. It's marked with the yellow ropes. Most of what we find, as you obviously are aware, is just soil color differences. And if we left it open to the weather, it would be disastrous.
Be gone, yeah.
We just backfill it all,
Yeah.
down plastic, and then put dirt down and plant grass, and we'll protect it that way.
They're sifting through the dirt for any artifacts that might be in it.
We're a long way from drive-through McDonald's, aren't we?
Yeah, sure are.
Okay, well, let's go then. Right.
Thanks a lot.
Exactly.
Dry moat around each nest. And what they did was to dig a dry moat and pile the dirt up toward the palisade. So that was there, but not when they started excavation, this was all right. And all of this had been farmed. Everything was plowed. So when they can distinguish the disturbed soil from the undisturbed. So they dug down and through undisturbed soil, and when they took out the disturbed soil, that means in this dry moat, which was in the record.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get John and go. We'll walk the path right now. Yorktown, where General Cornwallis surrendered, was essentially the key victory to the independence. go back and we'll do the battlefield driving tour. You want to do that now?
Yep.
Okay. Let's Custom's house. Believed to be constructed about 1720. We're headed back to the parking lot now at the Yorktown Visitor Center. National Park Service, the facilities have been real interesting and very good. The Nelson House. Nice mansion, still in really good looking shape. Lady Liberty at Yorktown. Number of deer just right here in the park area. Just opposite the monument of Lady Liberty.
I need to zoom back a little bit.
Can you see in it? What, are you getting a picture?
I can see through it, and there's the record light is flashing. So
the ERC going?
ERC, what's that?
Up in the right-hand corner, does it say ERC?
No, it says REC.
REC? I haven't even had a drink yet.
Second key.
Well, come in here. I want to show you what happens when you stay at a bed and breakfast in Richmond if you haven't paid your bill. This is like
Home improvement.
this is. Are Bob and Sandy anywhere? Bob, Sandy, come on up here. We need you. We're gonna have to fix the toilet here. Now I swear I did not do this. I did not do this, Mother. It was this way when I got here. Tell her, Barbara, come on.
Aunt Barbara left this for him because she knew he was a good kid and he'd do it.
I'm your grandson.
Godson.
Godson. Where's that drink you promised me?
I'll get it for you in a minute.
Well, in all seriousness, somebody call Tim Allen, please.
Hey, you know where Tim Allen is? He signed himself into an alcoholic place.
Oh, really? Well, I might be there with him in a little while. You never know.
He signed himself into a drunk driving place.
He doesn't want to be
Here we are. Oh, you look like the tourist, don't you?
All right.
Well, Jeff,
This is way too much fun.
I'm sorry you can't stay.
You know, I've been meaning to organize my sock drawer for weeks.
Yeah, for weeks, huh?
Jeffrey, go step on that
Just
so it'll stay
remember.
put.
Yeah, get it. Ah. Why is this thing so slippery down here?
Could be the wax.
You
know
want
what?
someone to step on that
You know what I
red
do
thing?
need?
What do you need?
I need a hammer and a good-sized nail.
I got that. Okay, be careful.
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
gamble in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn this
Yeah,
off.
just push the buttons and shut the power line. Monticello.
They'd be cooking, place cook. There's a stove, chimney fireplace attached right here on the side. And because it was common that fires, they would catch on fire, it would be easiest to be able to be in the house and knock down the fireplace if it did start on fire so that the whole row would burn up.
You repeat what you just said.
Okay, I'm sorry. If there was a fire started in the fireplace, then they'd be able to knock it over and put it out immediately so the whole row wouldn't burn up. This is where I'll introduce one of the families actually in particular. They're actually related to the Hemmings only by marriage. They were another...
I'll get over right next to you.
Careful. Okay, actually that gravestone is the gravestone of Rachel Levy. Excuse me, Uriah Levy